everybody. It's Steve and Paul from WinExtra, bringing you your daily brief for May 27th, 2011. And you got a clean bill of health this morning in 120 seconds.
Yeah, went back for my test results this morning, and
they let you out.
instead of having to wait, it was one of those occasions where I was lucky. Instead of having to wait in the queue, the doctor was just there behind the receptionist desks when I walked in, and she was just like, "You're fine, off you go." I'm like, why did I even bother driving down here?
Yeah.
Except to get the little receipt that said I was fine. So
yeah.
But you know, I'm not complaining. I was expecting to have to do more work today, so I got back here within like 45 minutes. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. We have a PSA today for those of you out there still using Skype. As we know, yesterday there was an outage on the service that affected everything from the app through to the service itself. And the register has updated that Skype has pushed out a Windows update for it.
Yeah, I'm register bias again, just a little bit. Yes, first off, you know, we did talk yesterday about, you know, Skype says it was too technical for most users, and I suppose maybe it was, you know, but all you had to do was change folder settings so that you could find hidden files and delete a file. It wasn't exactly the hardest technical thing in the world, but yeah. So as of yesterday, Skype pushed out as of last night, Skype pushed out an update to Windows users. So if you're having the problem, well, you should do it anyway. Just make sure you update your Skype client. You can either go to skype.com and download it, or just use the audio. You need not the audio. The auto update within Skype, and that will take care of things. What the register failed to mention, though, is that there's Linux instructions out there too for the manual update. They completely failed to mention that because, as we've mentioned before, the register likes to bash on Microsoft and Windows and not quite report the whole story, which is that basically this affected everything. And everybody, and you'll get updates for other clients soon too, I suspect.
Yeah. Yesterday was, I guess, a big blow up on the Microsoft world. Everybody calling for Steve Ballmer's head once again.
It wasn't really everybody. It was David Einhorn, and you know, the group that he owns, the group that he runs, is responsible for like 0.11% of Microsoft stock.
Wow.
It's like 9 million shares in Microsoft stock, okay? But still, you know, that's big enough to have a voice. Damn right, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, he called obviously for Microsoft's head, not Microsoft's head, the head of Microsoft's head, Steve Ballmer, and to go, and the board turned around and said, nope, we ain't getting rid of him. They gave him a vote of confidence, and as a result, Microsoft's stock went up. Not much. It went up ever so slightly, but it went up all the same. But of course, this has led to a slew of posts today about people once again speculating, well, all right, well, if we don't get rid of Ballmer, what are we going to do? Or really, is the board wrong?
That's what I wrote yesterday. You know, okay, so Ballmer's gone. What's next? And the fact is that, you know, there was actually another post out there by Scott Barnes. I ran across it this morning, and he says that, you know, if Steve Ballmer left the company, it would make absolutely no difference because Ballmer's not the primary. He's part of the problem, but he's not the main solution. Getting rid of him is not going to be the main solution to the problem that's at Microsoft. He points out that if you really want to make a change to the company, you got to go down a couple levels. You got to go down to the managers. You got to go down to the vice presidents, and you got to do a main shift in the HR department. Now, this is something that Microsoft has been saying for quite a long time. But the fact is that the one example that Scott Barnes used in his post where the heck is it now? It's something to do with Scott Guthrie, who is climbing the ladder at Microsoft really well. But he says even guys like Scott Guthrie, who are undoubtedly liked by all, is one you definitely don't want to piss off in internal Microsoft circles. I've seen him rain his goo lightning. He can be a hard ass just as much as the rest of them. To loosely quote something to the words of the last guy who messed with me, I stuck his head in the fridge. It doesn't sound like a very nice place to be working in some cases.
And you know what? This is where I have to completely and utterly disagree with Scott Barnes. And here's why. Yes, the change needs to happen at the levels below Ballmer. But the impetus for that change, the engine for that change, the direction and the motivation for that change can only come from one place and one place alone, and that is Ballmer. He is the only one that can turn around and put the management directly below him in their correct place and stop this. If they're not told from above, they're not going to change. They're not all going to suddenly wake up one morning and decide, oh, you know what? We act like a bunch of pricks when we go to work. We're just going to stop this en masse. No, because it's the culture. It's how they work. It's how they've learned to get on. And the only way that can be changed is from the top. Ballmer has been hearing this for years. Ballmer has refused to address it and refused to implement things to change that aspect of the Microsoft culture. He is the problem. Putting a new CEO in place who has the balls or the will to do this, to make the change, solves the problem. Of course, when that happens, there's going to be a transition period. There's going to be a lot of pissed off management, higher and middle management. There's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of things that people don't like, a lot of things that people give out about. But unless somebody stands up and makes the change, it's never going to happen. The only person that can do that is Ballmer, and he has said look, this is 2012. We've been complaining about this for 2 years on this bloody podcast.
Yeah.
He's not willing to make that change.
Like I wrote yesterday, the fact that, okay, replacing Ballmer is one part of it, but like you pointed out, there has to be a complete shakeup of the upper echelon of management at the company. But I don't know if right now Microsoft can afford the unrest or the I can't think of the word to use, but it's just there would be such a monumental change that would happen at a point when they're doing a big transition as far as Windows 8, Windows Phone, and all along those lines.
I'm sorry, but that excuse is bollocks. Microsoft is always in the midst of some monumental change. They're always pushing into the mobile market. They're always buying this company, or they're always launching the next version of Windows, or the next version. If that excuse is going to go on, then you know what? You'll never get rid of anybody. Because, look, we're looking forward to seeing Windows 8 right now, which means Windows 9 has already been worked on.
Yeah, true.
And it's always that way. There's always something monumental. There's always something big. You have to bite the bullet and make the change. And it's not like Microsoft can't afford it right now. Under Ballmer's reign, Microsoft has gone from, let me just make sure I have the numbers right, according to Mashable anyway, in 2000 Microsoft earned $23 billion in revenue and $9.4 billion in net income. Okay? By 2004, now, that you must remember, 2000 was the year that Ballmer took over, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 2004, $36.8 billion and in revenue and $8.2 billion in net income. 2010, 62.48 billion in revenue, 18.7 billion in net income. And as we have seen with the earnings reports, this is only going up and up, right?
Yeah.
From that perspective, Ballmer has put Microsoft in a financial position that they can afford to undergo almost any change that is necessary, because he has done a phenomenal job of, if there's two ways to look at a company. One, making sure they make money, or two, making sure you look after shareholders.
Yeah.
In terms of making sure you make money, Ballmer has nailed it. It's perfect. There's no two ways about it. Where he's failed, though, is the stock price and the share price, which
well, you know,
it's indisputable.
One of the other big, touch points yesterday was the fact of, let's bring Bill Gates back. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
I would love to see Bill Gates come back, right? But here's the thing, right? The dude is richer than God.
Yeah.
Right? God turns around and looks at Bill Gates and goes, "Ooh, I want to have your money." Okay. Yeah. Bill Gates is quite simply too involved in far many other projects and enjoying his life as what? Perhaps the world's most prolific philanthropist.
Yeah.
For him to come back to Microsoft would, I think, have to be... It would be like when he decided to leave Microsoft, okay? It's a personal decision rather than a financial decision, and there has to be something that motivates him enough to want to come back.
Yeah, but as we've seen, he hasn't really left the company. He's still the chairman of the board. He still obviously pulls a lot of punch.
But here's the problem. He's the chairman of the board. But being the chairman of Microsoft's board for him probably takes up no more than half an hour a day, and the meetings that he has to attend. He's like us. He keeps up on the Microsoft news, keeps up on the stock price, keeps up with what's going on internally, and goes on with his other projects. Okay? For him to come back and turn Microsoft around in that respect would require him to come back with near 100% focus on just Microsoft, which means dropping his other projects, which I don't see him being willing to do. The Bill Gates coming back to Microsoft notion is a wonderful, geeky, wet dream. But it will never happen.
No.
So you might as well forget it. Which leaves Microsoft then with what? Leaves Microsoft with three other options. Stick with Ballmer, fire Ballmer and promote somebody from the outside or from the inside, or fire Ballmer and promote somebody from the outside.
Yeah, and that's the big question: who would replace him? Here's the thing, folks. Like, if you have any thoughts on this, okay, if you have an idea of who could replace Ballmer, who could, reshuffle the company, make it better, drive up the stock price of it, let us know at podcast@winextra.com. Or drop us a comment anywhere where you find the show, or leave us a voicemail, text message at 251-281-8730, and let us know what you think. Because, we're kind of torn. I don't know who could replace him, to be honest with you. I joked yesterday in one of the comments I left somewhere that, maybe it was time to, give Carol Bartz a job offer.
Yeah, we don't want Carol Bartz at Microsoft, thank you very much.
No.
At least when I say we, I'm referring to us, I think.
Yes.
But you know what? Internally, you're looking at Guthrie, maybe Sanofsky coming up. They're great guys. They're wonderful at what they do, but I don't see any of them as a visionary CEO leader for Microsoft.
No.
Externally, I can't currently think of somebody doing the job well enough in another company to come to Microsoft and just take over. And because, you see, it's not just about that then, because when somebody comes from externally, that causes a lot of bad blood with the people who are coming up the line. It also means that they have to adapt to the culture as well as change the culture to suit them too. So that is what we want, folks. For tomorrow's show, or not tomorrow's show, for Monday's show, you've got the weekend to think about it. 251-281-8730. Who would you like to see replace Steve Ballmer as CEO of Microsoft, and why? Podcast at WinExtra.com, WinExtra.com/dailybrief, Twitter.com/WinExtra, anywhere at all that you can find us. Leave us know, and we'll find the message, and we'll discuss it on Monday's podcast.
So on that note, that's Paul. I'm Steve. This has been WinExtra's Daily Brief for May 27th, 2011. Take care, everybody, and have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Yeah, enjoy your Memorial Day long weekend, folks.